Hello, my narcissistic abuse family. This is a very, very sensitive subject. I've kind of been putting this off for a while, but I have you to thank for making me feel comfortable enough to speak about it, because I'm not going to divulge anyone's personal information, but in this community, I've communicated with incredible people that have been through similar circumstances. Different situation, but essentially the same hardship. So it's just one of the most astronomically sad examples of how destructive and painful and horrible it is to have a narcissistic mother in my situation. I mean, others have had narcissistic fathers, but as a woman with a narcissistic mother, there's no words. It's so sad and it is so painful. So the situation I'm talking about is back when I was 20. I was not even a teenager. I was 20 years old. This was during the time that my husband and I had broken up. I dumped him. I dumped him like a million times. He loves to throw that in my face. But it was during the time that Joe and I were not together. And I was with somebody else. And it was before the narc, thankfully. But I was with this guy and I got pregnant. I was 20. Again, like I said, I was going to graduate school. I was working like 2 jobs. And my one girlfriend was absolutely adorable. Jenna, she was so supportive of me. We were, kids, and we were going off on tangents, idealizing like all of the different scenarios of raising a child and that. So I went to my narcissistic mother and I met with her and I told her that I was pregnant. Holy bananas. It was like DEFCON, like just the ultimate nightmare in her eyes. It was like the worst case scenario. She instantly began crying and it's complete. I have nothing against people that are emotional, but when it's a narcissist that's exhibiting this behavior, it's phony and disingenuous, and she was doing it just because she's always the victim, So she immediately started crying, and the first thing she said to me, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You can't have it." I was 20 years old. Can you imagine? I think back to it and it just breaks my heart. Like, what a indescribably sad situation. Again, as I said, as a female, relying on your mom for support, nurturing, just unconditional love, and being met with that type of individual and lack of regard is just nothing like it. So she said to me, mind you, by the way, she's like Miss Catholicism. She is like a self-proclaimed saint, biggest hypocrite on the planet. So in the church, they always have these pro-life things, and they always sell these pro-life roses and things like that. She's all about it, and she's very outspoken about how devout she is and what a great Catholic she is, right? But her first response when I told her that I was pregnant was, "You can't have it." Wow. So again, I'm 20 years old. I'm a young person, and at that point in your life, you really rely on your parents for guidance and support, like I said. So I didn't really know what I was doing. I was always the black sheep, don't get me wrong, and I always had a fire in me that I knew I didn't want to be a part of these people. I always knew that I was different from them, but at that moment I was very vulnerable. So regardless of pro-life or pro-choice, it's not what this is about. My focus is on just how absolutely astronomically sad and callous it is. These people, she's callous as a mother to do this rather than supporting me and loving me during this time. And she was just so far removed from me. All she cared about was herself in that moment. And her response, again, you can have it. So I was really gobsmacked. And I had to go on that was it. That was all I got from her. I had to go on, and it's foggy again because your brain protects you. You don't remember things as clearly that are traumatic because you don't want to. It's too painful, and your brain knows better. It's trying to protect you. But I had to go make all my own doctor's appointments. I had to get myself there, and I had to set up everything. And on the day that I went for the procedure, she actually drove me. And she lied over and over again to me. Oh, we're not going to tell Daddy about this, right? But that's the thing about narcissists, is when you have something, that they love to shame you over, or they have something that you're not proud of, they will always keep it in their back pocket and continue over and over to use it against you because they want to make you feel as inferior as possible. So she shamed me for this. I mean, it was her doing, again, but she could not, she was like, we're not going to tell Daddy. Fast forward, I was with the narc. I had to go to court with him. That was a nightmare. Thanks to the enabler, toxic henchman, father of mine, but another story, different day. But when we were at court, of course, the narcissist was slandering me. And this is the first time I learned that you can write whatever you want in like a court statement or whatever it was. So he was obviously trying to just make me out to be a terrible person. And in his statement, he said that I had this abortion because I was, completely open, full disclosure. I had nothing to hide. And that was brought up in court. So the narc mother says to me, oh, Daddy didn't know that. She was totally lying. And it came up again later in life. And she said that to me again. Oh, Daddy didn't know that. Like, what are you talking about, man? And then came up again, like they were trying to throw it in my face as if I had not told my husband about this. He knows everything, man. Like, we share everything. And they brought it up again to try to, like, take a shot at me, I guess, or to try to get between my husband and I, or, again, to shame me. But this is just an example I'm trying to convey about how sad it is to have a narcissistic mother as a young person looking for guidance, support, nurturing, and you don't get that. And we've been on our own this whole time, until if you meet, thank God for Joe, but if you're fortunate enough to meet a partner, friend, a mentor, anyone, hold on to that person because it makes all the difference in the world. And you will have your issues that you have to work through, but know that you've always been worthy and deserving of real love and support. And narcissistic parents will do anything to convince you otherwise. So that's just a story I wanted to share with you guys because one of you, again, I love you all, and one of you confided in me that you went through a similar situation, and I'm just so sorry. My heart goes out to you, because I think back and it was a lot. And please don't crucify me for sharing this information. Like I said, I'm just doing it because I really feel that there's so much value in sharing our personal experiences, validating one another, having compassion and support for each other that we never had growing up. So I love you all. We're bumped and we're bruised, but more than anything, we are blessed. I will be back. Love you. Bye.